Do you ever have that feeling, maybe while you're brushing your teeth or waiting for the bus, that you're playing a part in a movie that hasn't been released yet? It's a strange, quiet friction. On the outside, you're just someone paying rent, someone who forgot to buy milk, someone who feels invisible in a crowd of thousands. But on the inside, there's this secret, a sense that there is a version of you that is vastly more real than the one the world sees. We spend so much of our lives waiting for the world to catch up to our internal self-image. We walk through grocery stores or sit in cubicles, and we think, if only they knew. If only they could see what I'm capable of, or how much I actually matter. It's the gap between the I that lives inside your head and the you that other people experience. And sometimes, that gap feels like a canyon. It feels like you're a masterpiece tucked away in a basement, covered by a dusty tarp, waiting for someone to walk in, flip the light switch, and finally recognize you. There's a line by Lady Gaga, an artist who for a long time was the very definition of being seen. Long before the stadiums and the Grammys, she said something that sticks in my throat. She said, "I've always been famous, it's just no one knew it yet." Now, before we roll our eyes or dismiss that as the ego of a pop star, I want us to stop. I'm not asking you to believe her. I'm not even sure I do. It sounds arrogant, doesn't it? It sounds like a delusion of grandeur. But I wonder if it's actually something much more uncomfortable. I wonder if it's a question about what makes us real. What does it assume to say you've always been something that requires an audience? Fame, by definition, is a social contract. It's a collective agreement that a person is worth looking at. So if no one is looking, can you still be famous? If a tree falls in the forest and no one is there to post it on Instagram, did it actually make a sound? If we tell ourselves we are secretly great or secretly famous, who are we protecting? Is it a shield against the crushing weight of being ordinary? And I wonder, what does this idea ignore? It ignores the possibility that we might just be ordinary. It ignores the people who have the same internal conviction but never get the reveal. Is this quote only a truth because she succeeded? If she had stayed playing dive bars in the Lower East Side forever, would this sentence be a philosophy or would it be a tragedy? We live in a time where we are all, in a sense, trying to prove we've always been famous. We curate our lives as if we have an audience of millions, even if it's just our high school friends and a few bots. We live in main character energy. We document our coffee, our heartbreaks, our morning routines, not always to remember them, but to validate them. To say, look, my life is a story. I am someone. There's a pressure now to be known, not just to be good or to be happy, but to be recognized. But I wonder what that does to our relationships. If I'm always famous in my own head, does that make the people in my life my co-stars, or are they just my audience? When we sit across from a friend, are we really there with them, or are we just performing the version of ourselves we hope they'll discover? The loneliness of not being known yet can be a heavy thing to carry through a 9-to-5 job or a quiet Sunday afternoon. But let's look at the other side. Maybe the idea that we are secretly something more is actually a trap. Maybe we aren't always anything. Maybe we are only what we do and who we love in the present moment. There's a certain peace in the idea that you aren't famous, that you don't have to be. What if the most real version of you isn't the one waiting for a spotlight, but the one who is currently washing the dishes? If we spend our whole lives convinced that we are waiting for the world to know, we might miss the life that is actually happening. We might treat our current reality as a waiting room for a future that might never arrive. And maybe, just maybe, the conviction that I've always been famous is a way of avoiding the terrifying truth that we are responsible for creating our own meaning, even if no one ever claps for us. Is it possible that the glory we're looking for isn't something the world gives us, but something we've invented to keep from feeling small? I want you to think about that secret self you carry, that version of you that feels famous or brilliant or special, even when you're failing. Just sit with that feeling for a moment. Is that feeling a compass telling you where you need to go, or is it a ghost haunting you, making you feel like your actual messy, beautiful, ordinary life isn't enough? What if no one ever knows? What if the tarp is never pulled off the masterpiece? Would you still be you? I've always been famous, it's just no one knew it yet. It's a bold claim. It's a way to survive the silence of being ignored. It's a way to keep walking when the world doesn't care. But I wonder, if you stopped waiting for the world to know, if you gave up the need to be discovered, who would you be in the dark? And is that person, the one no one knows yet, actually enough?